AFA Today, Kevin McCullough, glad you're with us from New York every weekday. My intrepid producer, Brent, sent me the link that I was looking for. The National Park Service informed charter boat captains in Florida that the Florida Bay was closed due to the shutdown. Until government funding is restored, the fishing boats are prohibited from taking anglers into 1,100 square miles of open ocean. Fishing is also prohibited at Biscayne National Park during the shutdown. This is according to Mike Flynn at Breitbart.com. The Park Service will also have rangers on duty to police the ban of access to an ocean. The government will probably use more personnel and spend more resources to attempt to close the ocean than it would in its normal course of business. Mike Flynn at Breitbart calls this governing by temper tantrum. Says it's on par with the government's ham-fisted attempts to close the D.C. World War II Memorial, an open-air public monument that is normally accessible 24 hours a day. By accessible, we mean you walk up to it. When you have finished reflecting, you walk away from it. At least that memorial is an actual structure with some kind of perimeter that can be fenced off. Florida Bay is the ocean. How, pray tell, do you close 1,100 square miles of ocean? Why would one even need to do so? Apparently, according to an anonymous Park Service ranger, we've been told to make life as difficult for people as we can. It's disgusting. That's in my column at onenewsnow.com, the Kevin McCullough, the brand new column that is titled Why World War II Vets. Mike Flynn continues, centuries ago, King Canute famously failed to command the ocean tide to stop. His display was actually a means to educate his subjects on the limits of royal power. Today, however, the president actually believes he has the power to control the ocean. 888-589-8840. I'm just curious as to your thoughts on this. 888-589-8840. Let's talk to George calling from Missouri. Hello, George. Welcome. You're on AFA Today with Kevin McCullough.
Hey, Kevin. Thanks for everything you're doing there.
We're trying.
I think this president, I think his little common sense train ran off the track, and somebody with the white coats need to go and pick him up and get him back into common sense land. I mean, this is all I know. He's got his little plan where he's doing all this, making it hard on everybody. Wouldn't you think that a president for we the people of the United States should be for all the people of the United States?
Don't you think that the president of the United States should not be trying to make life miserable for as many people as they can?
Hello. Yeah, that's exactly what I
mean,
the president.
I want you to think about it this way. Think about it this way, George. If you went to your job today and you said to your boss, you put out a memo, everybody in the office, listen, we're going to try to make life as miserable as possible for our boss today. How long would anybody still have a job?
Amen.
And that's really, thank you, George, for the call. That's really the analogy here. That's really the one-to-one correspondence. This is a man who is our servant. He works for us. He's not up here above us. He's below us. We are his employer. We are his boss. We hired him. And he's sitting at his desk looking around at all of his bosses going, you guys are a bunch of idiots, and I'm going to make life hard for you. By the way, Congress fits into that same category. They work for us, too. There's only, 500-something of all of them combined. On our end of things, 300 million? When do we just put an end to this silliness? Okay, you had your fun. You toilet papered the office over the weekend. Real funny. Now clean it all up and get back to work, or you're gone. It's kind of like I don't know. It's kind of like the kid that just goofs off all the time. You got to like really get him to narrow down and focus in on what the job is. The difference is he's the leader of the free world by our permission. And that's kind of frightening. 888-589-8840. It's confusing at the very least. Let's talk to Diane, who's calling from Georgia. Diane, welcome. You're next on AFA Today with Kevin McCullough. Glad you're here.
Hi, Kevin. How are you today?
I'm doing well for a Monday.
Awesome. I would like to say that our president is the most immature president or man I've ever known. For a man that has all the authority that he has in his hands, and he blows it, and he's been blowing it for a long time, and I just wonder how long are we going to take this before we get him out of there?
It's a question that I'm beginning to hear more and more, Diane. I honestly have so many people that are now saying, do we really have to put up with the next 3 years of this? Next 2 years, 2.5 years, whatever's left. And I don't know the answer to that. I know that there's been malfeasance committed on his job. And I know that in a normal employer situation, well, you just bring them in, you sit them down, and you say, Barack, this isn't working out for us. We hired you to fix the economy and to keep us safe, and to keep the government running. We hired you to fulfill your constitutional obligations. And here's your job performance review so far. The economy, not even close to being fixed. In terms of keeping us safe, your Homeland Security Department is stockpiling all these weapons and things, but even though they had track of the Boston bombers at one point, they lost them, and then they came back and blew us all up. And then in Benghazi, sir, we don't even know where you were that night. You've still never given us a report of what happened. Now, see, we hire you because, you applied for the job, and we believed your resume and story more than the others, and so that's what we did. We hired you. The board of directors said, this is the one we're going with. But sir, you seem to be confused about the ability of what security guards are supposed to do. For example, and I know that because you didn't grow up entirely in the United States, you might not really clearly understand this, but let me explain something to you. The World War II veterans do not have to be sheriffed around the World War II memorial. They're not going to vandalize it at all. They're going to keep it respectful and safe. It's going to be okay with the World War. You don't really need to put security guards there. I know you may have been confused because, they're veterans and they had military experience, so maybe you thought they were just going to flip out and do something weird, but they're not. They're really the very best people that we have in our entire nation. And so you can let them go ahead and look at the memorial. That doesn't cost anything. So it's okay to do that. Where you do need to put security guards is in terrorist hotbeds where ambassadors are poorly guarded, so that they don't get assassinated in the middle of a night when the Al-Qaeda Muslim Brotherhood, those people you keep exalting in all of your foreign speeches, when they come in the middle of the night and they try to bomb the shelters where they're living, that's where we need the security guards. That's where we need more personnel. If you're going to give more personnel, make every ambassador that's working for you right now feel much safer by just doubling their security guards. Especially if they're in somewhere between, Syria and Pakistan, anywhere in between. Just, you would probably go further to double their security than the World War II memorial being guarded from World War II veterans. Because I don't know, and I don't want to, we're not trying to hurt your feelings or anything, but you probably didn't get all of this. See, on a job performance review, you'd have the luxury of the employer saying to the employee, "Sorry, sir, you're just not measuring up." This was your job description. This was the basis of what you needed to do. The starting point. We're not even getting back to square one. And that's not going to be very good when you really think about it. 888-589-8840. Maybe I'm being too simplistic about it. What do you think? Juanita in Ohio, welcome. You're at AFA Today on AFR Talk. Hi.
Yeah, this is Juanita, in Ohio.
Hi, Juanita. Welcome.
I thank you for being able to get on there and help all of us realize what this man really is. Because he's trying to boss everything that we have. And the man, all he does is want to spend and get us bankrupt, is all he wants to do. And, sir, we can't let him do that because he really is not born in America in the first place. He never was, because I was on here and had the radio on. I don't know whether it was our station right there, the one that that she said he was born in Kenya. And then he wrote a book that he said he was born in Kenya. So the man is not our president of the United States. He is nothing but a falsified man that tells us a lie every day when he goes in the White House. And so I think that we should be able to go in and arrest him and take him out of office, because he really is, he shouldn't be in there at all.
Juanita, I appreciate your passion for the truth. Let me just say a couple of things in response to what you said. The courts of our country have looked at his birth situation, and they have said that the legal criteria is satisfied. I don't have personal knowledge of anything that counters what the courts have said. I don't have any documents in my possession. I've never held his birth certificate. I've never held his copy of his birth certificate. I have not seen them with my own eyes. I've seen pictures of them on the internet. I have seen arguments about why that document is not real and why the other document is real. I don't really know how to address that issue other than to say the courts have said that his citizenship is a settled matter. However, I understand why people might be a little suspicious of some of the things that the administration says. When we discover that the Justice Department is tapping every cell phone that, for instance, Verizon users have, and we just know that one so far, it might actually be more companies that have been compromised in that way. When we find out that Google and Facebook have turned over most of the private information that some of us thought was private, I understand. When we find out this stuff in the aftermath, it kind of starts making you go, well, wait a minute. Maybe everything isn't as it seems. But again, I don't have firsthand proof of his citizenship issue, so I don't know for a fact one way or the other. I'm hoping that our courts are right, and that doesn't give me a lot of, joy. But that's the case where we are. And so what I know right now, as we sit here today, what we are looking at is the court saying that he is the legal president. But I do think it's important that the more of us that are concerned about his actual actions stay involved. Obliterate the confusion that seems to kind of like just take harbor around us. Obliterate that. Pursue it with truth. Replace it with truth, and then to pursue clarity every single day. 888-589-8840. A lot of you want to weigh in on this. The shutdown has entered week 2, and your thoughts about them doing things like closing the ocean, 1,100 square miles of ocean. I don't know how you do that. I don't even know how to get those little floaty net things to stay in one place in a swimming pool. How do you close off an entire ocean? Do you run anchors all the way down to the bottom of the ocean and have, like, I don't know, cement blocks that then have chains that I'm confused. 888-589-8840. Let's talk to Jesse calling from Arkansas. Hi, Jesse. Welcome.
Hey, I'm glad you're doing what you're doing. I served this country for 22 years, and this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever saw.
What branch were you in, Jesse?
All money from China and other places to be able to close a World War II memorial and other things. It's just the most childish thing I ever heard of. What I would really like to know, and I'll hang up and listen, how do you vote Barbara Boxer, Barack Obama, Harry Reid, some of them others out of office? I mean, that are long-timers. How do you get them out of office? I mean, are they appointed, or can you vote them out? And then
no, every one of those people are voted in. There's none of those people that you named were appointed. Some judges are, but Harry Reid stands for election, so he'll have an opponent that people can contribute to. Barbara Boxer will have an opponent. President Obama can't run for another election. Under the current way the laws are read and understood, Tom Hanks actually said over the weekend that he should run for 4 more years. What does that mean? You only get 2 terms, Mr. Hanks. I'm Kevin McCullough. This is AFA Today on AFR Talk.